Hi guys, YouTube, hello. This is a first me in two ways actually. First time that I've gone live on YouTube, and the second thing is it's a bit of an experiment because it's the first time that I've just used an iPad. It's one of the original 12.9 iPad Pros, and I'm actually using the FaceTime camera on here. And just wondering how that's going to work out, how that's going to turn out, if the quality is going to be okay. I've done a couple of Facebook Lives earlier on it, and it seemed okay. It's funny, actually, because I was saying when I first started YouTubing and whatnot, I went out and spent thousands on cameras, microphones, lighting, you name it. I mean, I found out without a lot of studying that I didn't have the time or inclination to do. I was just pointing and shooting anyway, so may as well use an iPad or a Galaxy Note 8 or an iPhone X. I've got both of those as well, but on today, I'm just using the iPad to see how it is. I'm just using the iPad to see how it is. Talk about sometimes having all the gear and no idea. I wanted to talk to you about change today because it's a really interesting subject, and it's something that is unavoidable, isn't it? The big sort of paradox about change is that change is actually the only consistent thing that we've got. So, because things are always changing. In his book, The True Believer, Eric Hoffer said, in times of change, the learners shall inherit the earth, whilst the learned find themselves beautifully equipped to deal with a world which no longer exists. And I got hold of that piece of information in the late 90s, and I was running an internet.com business, which I'd started up with a couple of guys. And driving to work one day, John Humphreys was on Radio 4 interviewing, I think it was one of the top brass from Hanson Trust or a firm like that. And they'd just that day been knocked off the FTSE 100 where they'd been forever by some impudent startup of a .com company who'd not even earned a quid in profit yet. And John was asking the guy how he felt about that. And I would imagine he was fairly pissed off about it. But that aside, it was a perfect example of the learned finding themselves beautifully equipped to deal with a world which didn't exist, because they were the supposed learned. I guess they thought they would be there forever, that they got a God-given right, and they would be, you know, top dog forever, and everyone else the underling, so to speak. And the learners were the .com kids, the .commers, the tech guys, the startup guys who were really hungry for success. So that's a perfect example of what Eric Hoffer said in motion. But another thing, three things to take away from this is the quality or the growth of your life, of your business, will be always in direct proportion to your ability, to my ability, to our ability to deal with and embrace change at any one time. So we've got to give the change muscles a workout, guys, totally, because you just can't avoid change. So second thing, embrace change positively. Don't embrace it just for the sake of it, because that's fake. If you get into it and really get what you're meant to get from it, then it will start to become a part of you, and you'll start to relish it, and you'll start to get a thirst and a hunger to know more and get more and more and more cutting edge. You know, there are really loads of people over the age of 40, 50 and 60 who have embraced social media, who have embraced the internet, who are YouTubing, who are doing all sorts of things like that. And then there's other people who you meet who are, you know, in their mid-40s, and they go, oh, I don't do that Facebook. I can't be bothered with that Facebook lark or that email lark or that YouTube lark. Well, guess what? You're going to get left the hell behind, you know, or words to that effect. And then, you know what? The third thing is you're going to get disappointments in your business. You're going to get people let you down. That's a given. No matter who you are, no matter how good you are, no matter how good your offer is, you're going to get disappointments and people let you down. I've had a few lately. But you know what? So what? Some will, some won't. So what? Move on, onwards and upwards, next, you know? And what I found out ultimately in life is that if you are doggedly persistent if you don't give a toss about what anybody else thinks, about rejection, about other people's opinions, which, let's face it, they're just dying to spew them on you, and opinions are the cheapest commodities in the world anyway. So we don't want cheap shit in our lives, yeah? So if you are doggedly persistent and you just keep going and keep going and keep going, I've found this, that the deck, guys, is ultimately stacked in your favor. And I will leave you with that thought. And I've got no idea how to switch this off because it's very different to Facebook Live. But look, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. And I'm going to work out how to switch this off. And I will see you next time. Cheers.